What's going on? It's your man, RanDAMan. Doc. Yeah, let me tell you something right now. This is definitely amazing.com. It's cold. We're in the heart of Brooklyn. I don't come out for no reason. I come out for big stuff. And we got a big interview today. For the Men of Purpose series, I'm interviewing MOEtivation, aka Rafe, from Money and Violence, right in the heart of Brooklyn, right at SoCo. Doing a little southern eating. Make sure I give me something good to eat in there. Get a really, really good interview. You guys keep it locked. Definitely amazing.com. RanDAMan. Wave 52 images. And we out.
What's up, everybody? It's your man, RanDAMan. Definitely amazing.com. Now, I know I do a lot of interviews. You're probably tired of seeing my face. Who am I kidding? No, you're not. I'm never tired of seeing my face. But this ain't about me today. In fact, I got a whole new series for you. It's called Man of Purpose. Now, Man of Purpose is going to feature gentlemen who are doing things with a purpose, with a goal in mind, and men who want to leave a legacy behind with what they're doing. So today, I said, what better way to kick it off than to kick it off with the man who's behind one of the most meteoric rising for a YouTube series since, I don't know, one of those cooking people. It's the man behind Money and Violence, MOEtivation, aka Rafe. Well, I guess I could just call him Rafe. In fact, there's some times I might call him Rafe during this whole interview. The man of the hour, Mr. MOEtivation. So, MOEtivation, first things first, I gotta ask you, Money and Violence. I know you said before that you didn't see this coming. You didn't see none of this rise coming.
It's not even so much as me not seeing it coming. It's just that I didn't think this far.
Alright, I could dig that. I could dig that. Here's the thing that always pops up in my head when I wanted to do something on Men of Purpose. I want to make sure that I understand and make everyone else understand your purpose. So tell me what's MOEtivation's purpose. What's your purpose in life? What's your purpose with the show? What's your purpose?
Alright. There's a lot of things nowadays that I don't agree with as far as the state of the youth, as far as the state of what's going on in the streets. I believe the streets no longer breed what they used to. I believe that we're in a time where the street culture used to dictate hip-hop, but over the last 15 to 20 years, it's come to a point where now hip-hop dictates the street culture. And I believe that there is a problem with that only because hip-hop is controlled not by us. So therefore, in the end, we're not controlled by us. Okay, so what Money and Violence is, Money and Violence was a project that I put together, not even just for entertainment, it's something that I put together. It was my effort at, instead of asking for change, making a contribution to bring change. And I mean, it's step one in my plan. You know, at this point in the plan, it might not be clear, but I'm sure to those who are more in tune, they can see that Money and Violence is about much more than just money and violence.
Alright, so one of the characters that a lot of people talk about, besides, you know, Miz characters, who we got Miz in the building. He's here.
Miz in the building?
He's doing his thing. Besides the Miz character and besides your character Rafe or Ty character, one of the characters a lot of people talk about is Kane. And for me, I think Kane's character is influential for a number of reasons because Kane kind of embodies a lot of the youth that we have out here now. Guys who are not built for the hustling life, they're not built for the stick-up kid life, but they've now been put into a position and a hardship that makes them say, look, I gotta get money for such and such, whether it be for my daughter, whether it be for my ailing mother, I gotta get this money. And this is the only way I see out. So how do I do it? What I wanted to ask you is, what do you say for the young men who are watching the show and Kane is them, and they're at that point, they're at that breaking point, and they're about to boil over, and there's no one like you to talk to them or talk them out? Because a couple of times in the show, you tried to talk Kane out. So what do you say to the gentlemen that are watching that show, and Kane is them?
The funny thing is, I mean, I think it stems a step further than just the need to provide with Kane, and the reason I'm saying is, Kane is a very good reflection of what the youth is nowadays, and that's only being because, aside from not really being built for what he's trying to put himself into, he's more concerned with the facade that he can put up. You know, like the scene where me and Miz, we did the robbery or whatever, the money's there, and we catch him putting it on Instagram, you know, I'm not talking about Chipotle, I'm talking about Felice. And yes, Kane definitely, you know, he wants to take care of his daughter and this and that, but at the same time, when he came off on that laundromat, like the first thing he did was went shopping and went and bought champagne bottles in a goddamn clothing store before he went and bought clothes for his daughter. I mean, he did in the end go buy clothes for his daughter, but it goes to show you what's more important to him. Okay? Now, to the youth, what I would say is, hip-hop videos are just hip-hop videos. There is more value in being yourself rather than in faking the front as who you think the world wants you to be. As long as you play your position, you can be respected for the position that you play. You know, I'm sure that everybody wants to be accepted, but right is right and wrong is wrong. And you may not have it in you, and you may hurt yourself more than help yourself by trying to get yourself involved in something that isn't you. Being a man has nothing to do with, you know, over the last 15 to 20 years, it's become synonymous with being a gangster, player, and pimp, and it has nothing to do with any of it. When people say keeping it real, keeping it real just means being true to yourself. So if the streets aren't for you, as long as you say that they're not for you, then you should be respected for that. You don't have to force yourself to be something that you're not. You know, there's always a million other options. And what I would say in the end is just, you know, be true to yourself. If you have it in you to do it and you feel that there's no other option, I cannot tell you not to, because look, I can't tell people what to do to feed their kids. I'll be in jail doing 25 years to life before I let my daughter starve. It is what it is.
You know, I couldn't have said it better myself. Phenomenal answer, and I think it's a phenomenal answer because it speaks to the character Rafe. You know, one of the things that I wanted to do, you can't differentiate motivation from Rafe, but if I could for a second, we know what motivation's purpose is. What is Rafe's purpose in this show? What is Rafe's purpose? What would be the end game for Rafe?
Rafe is fighting in the battle. And the reason he's fighting this in the battle is because, you know, logic, it exists totally independent of emotion. Rafe is the balance within the crew. You know, he's the yin to the yang. Like, Miz is hot, Rafe is cold, you know. Kane is what he is, and Rafe is just the balance, man. Like, he's what keeps everyone level-headed. I believe that Rafe is what's missing from this generation. Rafe is that guy who's been through enough to be wise enough to help people navigate through this maze that we call the urban jungle, but at the same time, he's still not too far removed from the urban jungle to the point where he's not respected enough for his advice to be taken as just him just talking crap. You know, I believe that what's missing nowadays is basically guidance, and that's what Rafe is. He's someone who has been through enough and who cares enough to basically give a word of wisdom to those going through whatever they're going through.
Here's something that nobody will probably expect me to ask. So, you say there's a purpose to everything in this entire show. So I started watching very closely. I did that whole Rand watches this for everything. Something has to be something. It has to have something to do with something. So I gotta ask you, the cats. There are cats in like at the end of every episode, there's like a scene where there's this focus on a cat. And I figured no one's really asking about these cats. So I'm gonna ask about the cats.
Okay.
What's up with the cats? Tell us what the purpose is.
No. It's simple. It's a simple answer. There are a lot of scenes. For instance, the scene where Shane got into the shootout with Dude, and Dude jumped on the motorcycle and he came outside. And when Shane came out after giving him the gun, there was the ambulance there. There's a scene where me and Miz were out the corn right, and when we got outside, the cop car was out there. We didn't plan on that. None of that. And when things like that occur, I say, you know what, we're putting in the effort, and that's God doing his job, because God is he's part of our team. So all these coincidences that occur is just, I believe that's him playing his part. Like, look, all right, this is the part that I play. I'm gonna make sure that just coincidentally, these things are here for you guys to use. So as far as the cats are concerned, I don't know, like, they're just always there no matter where we go.
It's that black too.
Yeah, exactly. So I just use them to my advantage.
Love it. I love it. Because
and that's not the country, and that's the great thing about money and violence. You have to understand that although it's scripted, money and violence is life in motion.
Right. I love it because
Look, you see this? Wait, which side? This side? Do you see this? When you saw the scene, we really went and got those tattoos. That was really occurring.
One of the things that I love about you personally is this for you is done like how you do everything. It is, I want to get it done, so I'm gonna get it done. And one of the things I loved about one of your answers for before in the past was, you wanted to say to your daughter, if there was anything that she wants to do in life, she can do it. Because look, Dad did it. So let's talk about the impact of the culture, money and violence, and the impact that it might have on youth from the female perspective. Where do you think the messages occur for the female? Or is it something that you still have in the works for the later season?
No. First and foremost, as far as our female cast members, we don't exploit them. You've never seen any gratuitous booty shots. People ask why aren't there sex scenes? And the reason being is because the way that I operate from the perspective of no matter what it is when it comes to a female. I mean, my daughter's a cast member, but my daughter was actually in episode 8. I operate from the standpoint of, if I wasn't the director and this woman was my daughter, would I be cool with her doing the scene? You have a character like Shay. See, what happens a lot of times is that people look and they're like, oh, so why don't you make them doctors and lawyers? And I say, because the people I'm trying to reach out to are doctors and lawyers. And they wouldn't be able to relate to them. So, I believe that you have to show people the good and the bad. You look at a character like Rafe, and you look at how he courts a woman like Jessica. So much respect. in how he speaks to her, and how he handles her, everything, so much respect. But, you know, people say Madison's stupid because Miz just got her sitting there. But when have you ever seen Miz with another woman? You know, people are always going to talk. I believe that ignorance is ignorance, and people are always going to find something to pick at. People don't. When it comes to a project like this, where you're exposing it to the public, people are not looking for a reason to like you. They're looking for a reason to not like you. So they're always going to pick. And what they pick at isn't always going to have a basis. That's why I believe the people are always going to talk. You just don't always have to listen.
Let's talk about some characters, because there are two characters that are always talked about. People are always talking about these two characters. First, the Zoe God himself, Leon. And then second, grimy, really grimy. Oh my goodness. The man who, he coined it. He said he's the most hated man in America. And I would have to agree by some of the comments I saw on the YouTube. Let's talk about the inspiration behind those two characters, Leon and Ty.
Ty and Leon, you know that our slogan is welcome to the old Brooklyn. Rafe, Miz represent the old principles and the old morals of what Brooklyn used to be. Ty and Leon represent the 2015 Brooklyn. And it's just so funny to me that so many people hate Ty, when a lot of the people that hate Ty are like Ty. You know, Ty is an opportunist. Ty is selfish. Ty just looks out for himself. And I believe that this is the way of thinking that a lot of these people in 2015 have adapted. So it's just so crazy to me that it's great because the character that they should relate to is actually who they hate. But we all know it's hard to look at yourself.
Right.
You know, as far as Leon, with the whole scamming culture, I felt that I needed to have that character in there because it's relevant. This is what's going on right now. And whereas you have songs, like you had a song that was one of the major hits, I Just Caught Another Zoe. And it just baffled me because I'm like, okay, the Zoe means to do business with someone and to not hold up your part of the bargain and to basically cheat them out of whatever it is you're supposed to give them. But people are singing it's like this is a good thing. So it's like nowadays they made it cool to be a scumbag.
Right.
You know, so I wanted to expose it. I wanted to show it. But I wanted to show it from the other end, whereas people understand, oh shit, this isn't cool. You know, yeah, I added humor to it only because I didn't want. Listen, I've been in the streets for years, and we've had many funny experiences. We laugh a lot, so I didn't want to leave that out of it. You know, but Leon and Ty are basically my depiction of what a lot of people are in 2015.
Did you originally have the mindset to have them have that connection at the end of them being related, or was this something that came about as, hey, yo, you know what? Since we're linking stuff together, let's link these guys?
No, from the beginning, I wanted to have them connected in some way or fashion. From the second episode when Ty was laughing and he was like, oh my God, you gave Leon the pound a zipper push, like, you got sold, like. And if you notice, when Kane walks away, Ty goes, don't kill his mother. But it's sarcastic, because it's like, it's such a tough guy. Like, okay, like, you know, it's sarcasm. So, if you go back, like, to the second episode, you come to realize that although Ty hadn't done anything to Shane, it was always there lying below the surface. Because to some degree, being that that's who supplies him, there was always a jealousy.
We talk about legacy, and I think the beauty of a segment like Men of Purpose is that everyone I'm going to be interviewing for this segment is going to have that wanting to leave a legacy behind. What is the legacy you want Money and Violence to leave behind?
Money and Violence is the first step in a much bigger plan. Money and Violence is basically the first. It's a stepping stone to something much bigger. The legacy that I would like Money and Violence to leave behind, as far as the project itself, is just to show people that you don't have to wait. Things don't have to be perfect. If I waited till things were perfect, I still wouldn't have started the project to this day. I had one camera. I had a boom mic. I had 4 of my people. I didn't know who else was going to play the other characters, but I was like, let's go. And they said, let's go as well. You know, I also want people to know it has a lot to do with those that you keep around you. Money and Violence is an idea that I had for quite some time. It was lingering in my mind, but the people that I was around before, when I would bring it up, would go, you're going to make a movie? Get out of here. What are you talking about? So because of that, I would just, it would go back to my subconscious. But when I brought it up to Ray, who played Miz, he was like, you write pretty well. You'll write the first 2 scenes, well, let's go. Let's see what it could do. You know, so you have a lot of people in this world that just because they don't believe in themselves, they tend to convince you to not believe in you. So the legacy I'd like it to leave behind is these words here. I'd like everybody to know that there are no human hands on this earth that can stop you other than your own. Once you recognize your potential, and once you realize and acknowledge who you are and what you can do, possibilities are limitless, man. You know, I woke up a couple of months ago and said, I'm going to be a director. I didn't wait for anyone to make me a director. I read an article on BET.com last week that says creator and director of Money and Violence. Me. It's a beautiful thing, man, and I feel privileged. All respect due to the Most High, thank God.
I'm loving it, I'm loving it. So, you're not as familiar with Definitely Amazing. I'm now more familiar with Money and Violence. Here's something that Definitely Amazing does with all of their interviews. It's the question that can make or break any of my interviews. It's what makes you definitely amazing. I know that I would like you to let the people know what makes you definitely amazing.
What makes me definitely amazing is the fact that I realize that that is not something that I can give to myself. I can only become amazing by what I do for others. It doesn't make me amazing to make myself money. It doesn't make me amazing to educate or to give myself wisdom. They call it the gift because it must be given. And without me giving it, I'm nothing. It's not amazing. So, to how many others that I can try and send and give the gifts that the Lord has given me, that's what makes me amazing.
So dope, so dope. Once again, this is history in the making here because this is the first of this series. I am more than proud to have you as the first inductee to the Men of Purpose.
Thank you.
I'm so proud of this show for a number of reasons. One in particular, now any young man who's sitting there wanting to direct something, wanting to get it done, now has someone, his skin color, his complexion, from his hood, that can get it done.
And I'm accessible. Hit me on Instagram.
Yes.
Hit me on Instagram, Cloud9TV_. DM me. Listen, just don't put no stupidness because I want to answer you back. But if you send me a genuine DM, I guarantee you I'll reply. I reply to a lot of people, and they're always hitting me back like, oh my God, you replied. And I'm like, oh,
I love it, I love it. Yo, it's your man, RanDAMan. It's definitely amazing.com. We'll sit here and build with the brothers for a little bit. You know what this is. It's the Men of Purpose series. We will have more with the Men of Purpose series very, very soon. Once again, your man RanDAMan, rocking my Rotten Monkeys, Snapback, and Dangerous Negro, Smart as the New Gangster shirt. Make sure you check us out. Keep it locked. DefinitelyAmazing.com. And we out.